What's up, enthusiasts? It is your boy Rob, back with another video. A few days ago, Archon Studios jumped on a stream and just talked about the StarCraft Miniatures game, which we're all excited about. We're thinking if this will finally be the 40K killer. I don't think so, but I think we're going to have a fun ride with this game. Let's see what they had to say. Don't worry, I know the video is an hour. We're going to like splice it up and just give you guys the high points, you know, my commentary, and do it how we normally do. So guys, let's enjoy this one. Let's get it started, all right?
Okay, we're here. Hello there.
Hi there.
I hope everything works. You can see us, you can hear us. For the swarm, of course, for the swarm.
Audio's not the best, but I mean,
right, so where we're gonna go start with. Today is basically StarCraft update. We want to take you through a couple of things. I'm gonna be showing some models, miniatures later on. The most important is this. Last week or week so, we launched the on Friday for the small group. We launched the beta test rules app just to see how it goes, and today we're going to be allowing another 400 people into the app. Most of you already are in the app, but we cannot get everybody in straight away, otherwise the database will crash and burn. So we have to take it in small portions for 400 people. But I can promise that tomorrow I'll try to get another 300, and day after another 300 people, so just make sure everybody's going to have a chance to go.
How many people watch my channel?
Now, very important to whom this app is. This is basically for people who are experienced in tabletop miniatures games, right? So if you played in the past previously,
audience. We're all experienced.
If you play any tabletop miniatures games, that's going to be the best one, because then you will be able to find yourself very easy to navigate around the rules and to read them and to understand them very, very quickly. There's some examples still missing, like visual examples. We're still working on them. Once we have them done and approved, I will upload in the app. So yeah, and also for the people who want to test the game and try it out. So with their own miniatures, because we send out how many groups? 60?
I believe it's around that number, yeah.
Yeah, about 60 group received miniatures from us.
Game.
I mean, they were sent out last week, so they're in the process to being delivered, and some of them already got the miniatures. Already play on with the miniatures. So yeah, we should get more feedback coming through, and within that couple of days of feedback, there was quite a lot of discussions on Discord. There was some feedback I will show you just in a minute, what we have received from the games, from people play the games, and where we are, and what things we have to work on, and what things will kind of improve and change. Just a quickie, we do have some questions from social media. Shimon will read them out, and then we'll try to answer them firmly, and then move back to the app and explain you step by step what to do and how to work with it. Okay?
So, StarCraft Beta, what are the metrics by which you're determining the most active playtesters? Is that based solely on engagement with the app, so logging games, or providing written feedback in the app, Discord activity, or some combination of the above? Clarity would be greatly appreciated for those who want to earn the discount.
Definitely both. So we're looking at the activity on Discord, we're looking at activity in the app itself. You have something. What is important, we need you, if you find something which is like fundamentally like game breaking, we need to get that information through app as well. So if you don't have access yet, don't worry about it. We're tracking through.
I love that they're essentially
Discord
doing an open beta
and so on. So yeah.
This is kind of like how they do,
pertaining to the
games.
discount itself, is there a limit to the amount of product that the discount can be applied to? I have several friends who will be playtesting with me. It would be nice to buy a few things for them with the discount, considering that they are also going to be donating their...
All right, guys, so I don't want to stop this a lot, especially because it's an hour. Again, I'm not going to make this video a full hour, but I really like that they are doing an open beta, because a lot of times with miniature wargaming, they'll have like a close-knit group of testers, and they won't really get the game to go through the runs that it needs to. They won't run the game through the ringer, and then a lot of flaws will slip into the final version of the game. So with this open beta, they're going to find a lot of issues, a lot of imbalances, and they're going to actually see what's fun and what's not. They're going to be able to pull the mechanics that just aren't clicking. They're going to be able to pull that out and either replace it with something new, or if it's just like trimming the fat and it's like, hey, listen, we don't need this extra like phase or step, they'll be able to find that out very quickly with an open beta, and get the game airtight.
Their time to this project?
Kind of makes sense, but we haven't at the moment. We only say this discount will be for the starter box, for the starter box itself, and we're not sure whether it's going to be like a global discount, because we're a little bit worried that people are going to be abusing this, as always happens. So I'm not saying your group will be, but give us some time to think how we're going to be working out. But at the moment, it's just for the starter box, a single starter box, by the way. So
discounts are always great. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I wouldn't want a discount if I was a current tester for the game. But I know the margins have got to be slim, or they will be slim on this game. StarCraft, Blizzard, I mean, they're going to want their money. So, Archon probably has to tread carefully. They don't want to overextend themselves and give the game away. And plus, I'm pretty sure Blizzard has some say in the pricing, because they want to protect the value and quality of their IP as well. So
it's going to be a very good discount. Yeah.
Oh, but it's going to be very good discount.
Next questions.
StarCraft, concerning the models, how flexible and compatible are the kits of Jim Raynor and the normal Marines? Can they interchange parts for conversion?
Unfortunately not. Maybe experienced people can do that, no problem whatsoever. But Jim Raynor's got its semi-monopose miniature, so you have to assemble the way it's been provided. He's got 2 weapons, he's got additional head options, he's got a drone, obviously, and 2 different type of bases. So you have this.
So you have some options there. It's not just like a pre-built, pre-assembled model, pre-molded, whatever you want to call it. So you've got some assembly options there. You just won't be able to it won't be fully posable or anything, which is we're used to it in this hobby. I know there are a lot of people that want to make everything custom. Right now, Maury, I know they haven't showed any miniatures. I've seen some screenshots, but I'm worried that the game won't have a very unique identity versus 40K, because we're looking at big blue guys with big shoulder pads, big helmets, a bunch of them marching across the table, shooting bugs, and that sounds a lot like 40K if you're on the outside looking in.
I have only 1 minute. I got 2. 1 second. So let's just move on quickly to camera. I'm going to show you. This is unpainted Jim Raynor. Yeah. So as I mentioned, he's semi monopose.
Yeah. Prefer to see it with some paint on there.
And that's the other version.
There we go. That's what we need to see.
So you can use either of the bases. Actually, both bases are the same. We have also the other base, which is the industrial base somewhere. I won't be able to show you at the moment. I wasn't ready for that question anyway, but that's the different version. So we have a helmet with clear plastic. You have a sniper rifle. I think this one is, you can basically do it like this.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I like that.
So, yeah. Okay, I hope that makes sense.
So obviously the plastic's going to look good. I'm not too worried about things like mold lines and all that stuff. I think this is going to be a very good quality plastics. Again, the aesthetic is very similar to 40K. I don't know which one came first, 40K or StarCraft. You guys let me know in the comments. But again, if I am seeing both of these games on the shelf, I think it's really going to come down to price. If I'm a newbie and I want to get into wargaming, I see 40K box, I see a StarCraft box. Which one am I going to pick up? If these sets are priced reasonably, maybe you're getting miniatures let's say you're getting about $2 to $3 per miniature. I think that's a good value. That's definitely cheaper than GW. I think if these miniatures get up into like the $5-6 range per model, then we're going to be looking at which game has the community to carry it to keep me interested.
You can glue it in, or just not glue it in, have it like that. Let's go.
Same question for our Tannis and Adepts. So yeah, same answer here. It's not really possible unless you're very, very experienced.
That's correct, but he's got many options, by the way, many assembly options.
If they have the options they say he has, I wouldn't even worry about customizing anything,
So he's actually quite a unique model. You can do either short hairs. He's got the different variant with short hairs. He's got different blade. He's got the Zeratul blade as well. You can do without the blades, or you can do with the what was the name of the skill?
Orbital
bombardment skill, kind of like the thingy which is coming down. So he's got several different options of assembly, cool. And also got two different bases, if I'm correct. So yeah, and that's the model.
So you're going to be getting a lot of extra plastic with these guys.
Lovely plastic model. By the way, it's got
bits and pieces.
Lots of those things like little plastic elements. So you can paint them. You can just basically leave them unpainted. I got plenty of models to show you today, so we're gonna go with that.
Oh yes.
Let's move on. Let's jump next question, Siobhan.
Yeah. How long do we have to wait for Firebats? They look trivially easy to convert from Marauders. Maybe give us some beta rules so people are willing to convert their own and can play them on day one.
So not on day one, that's for sure. We haven't got the rules for them yet, to be honest. And they're gonna be wave number 3 or maybe wave number 4 release. So it's gonna take some time to get there. We have other things which we currently work on for the new releases. The Firebat, I mean they need it. We know that they need it because the Terra needs some screening against a close combat units or close combat in general. We're gonna digest in a second in terms of what has changed in the game in the last couple of days, but let's move on to the next question.
And last but not least, can you show us some of the pictures of the beta testers and what they've built so far? Yeah, that's basically it.
I don't have any photos, to be honest. I've seen some of floating on Facebook and on, I think, Discord. Somebody shared on Discord as well, yeah? But just expect them to come through.
Yeah, regarding painted models, are people allowed to paint their playtesting models?
Yeah. I mean, they fully up. I mean, they're gonna stay with them as long as they don't want to sell it.
Okay, well there you go.
Okay,
that's pretty cool.
It was the case.
Send me a box.
Problem had. So when I'm gonna be quite frank with you guys. When we first announced that we're looking for the groups and we're gonna be sending models to groups, all of a sudden, somewhere on Telegram, on other portals, people were saying, "Oh, I'm gonna get those models, sell them straight away on eBay." So we were like, "Oh, hold on one second. This is not the idea. We want to send you models to play and playtest the game, give us feedback, and for that, just keep the models for yourself, for your group, for the."
Dude, come on, man. That's the one thing that drives me up a wall. Like, no matter what hobby you're in, there's going to always be someone that's trying to capitalize, that's trying to swindle, that's trying to scalp, and this isn't necessarily ruining the hobby for anyone. But if you see they're trying to get these models to people and the rules to people for play testing so they can build a tight game, a fun game, why the hell are you going online to post that you're going to sell these things as soon as possible, or just that you're going to sell them? Like, that's not going to be very, what word am I searching for? Inspiring for these guys. They're not going to be willing to want to just, he said it right there. He's not going to want to be sending these models out to just anyone now, and I'm pretty sure they're already going to be selective, but now this is going to make them this had to have made them even more tight-fisted.
For the people who are going to be playtesting the game.
That's what it's for.
So we need to put a small restriction there about who owns them.
Not
yes, we own them. You paint them, no
but
problem. We own them, but if you try to sell them, you don't own them anymore. Simple as that. So yeah. Unfortunately, you learn very quickly that you have to be careful of those things. Let's move on to the next one. Maybe.
Can you clarify again if rosters are public? Maybe I misunderstood the last Emma, because that because of Fog of War, you don't know what your enemy brings in. No, so at the beginning of the game, both players do reveal their rosters, right? Like the fog of war.
There is no mandatory. There's no mandatory to reveal. No, there's no mandatory at the moment. The rules doesn't state it, so it's not mandatory to actually show your enemy roster whatsoever. It is typical in any tabletop miniatures games that you bring what you want to play today, and enemy just learn through the game that you actually bring in. In this game, it's even much more better because you might have different type of openings, and if your enemy go and look at your list, you might say, okay, I know your opening now. I know how to counter from the round first or turn first. So it's not fully open. You just bring the stuff you have, and obviously at the end of the game we just exchange the roster just to make sure that everything was correct and whatever. But that's the main rules for for the game itself. Yeah. So you do a roster at home, keep it for yourself, bring it on a day of the playing. You wanna, yeah.
Can we already see the template weapons for blast templates and flamer templates to get a better understanding? I had several discussions about the rules, therefore.
I hope we get
also,
cool blast
the question,
templates.
Will the range damage rule,
maybe acrylic?
you can't kill what you see,
I think with
also
the
apply
amount
to
of
the
acrylic
blast
I've
template?
Everything you have written in the app. In the app, they have the rules for the template. It's quite clearly stated exactly what you can kill it, what you cannot kill it. So template, in terms of round templates, you have a line of sight from the template itself. So wherever you position the template, this is what you're going to kill. And for the blast, it's basically standard range rules. So you have to have the not for the blast, for the flamers. So both things are covered in the rules already.
I want to see the art for the blast template, so I'll have to probably look it up after this. I hope that the starter set comes with cool acrylic blast templates, or that you could at least buy some. I know there's going to be some aftermarket blast templates, some custom stuff that people are going to be making and like selling on Etsy and everything else. I know we really haven't, or they haven't really touched much on the rules, but I don't really see this being so like drastically different from pretty much any other war game. I think there are a lot of mechanics that are kind of coming into the genre now, or the hobby, that are almost favoring the weaker player, giving them a fighting chance in the late game. To, I guess, keep games entertaining. I think with Halo, which was one of the, not the first game to do this, but one of the more notable games to facilitate that type of play, where it's almost like you're respawning throughout the game. So I can see that being something that they implement in StarCraft.
And yeah, thus far we didn't have no discussion about that. In terms of templates, you're going to be seeing some templates in that document, how they work once we have the visual example. So the next, I can only sneaky peek that the next releases will have some plain templates. And in terms of templates, how to obtain them, when you're going to buy the box with the miniatures, you will find the template in there. Okay, so you wouldn't have to buy anything extra. We're not going to be selling you on, selling you additional or hiding some units behind the paid wall. You have that one. You're going to have that one with the unit itself.
Okay.
And why did you decide that it's not possible to shoot into melee?
That is not correct release statement. You can actually shoot into melee. If you engage with a unit, you are engaged with, you can actually shoot that unit every round. That unit get the benefit of additional armor save. That's what it is. Now, why we didn't allow like 100% shooting in unit? We did that several times. We tested, we play tested. It's not fun.
It's not.
It's absolutely not fun.
I don't know who's asking that question, or what veteran or well-versed tabletop player that's asking, why can't you shoot into combat? Why can't you shoot into melee? That's almost never a rule. That's something that can get OP very quickly. So that's just one of those rules that you would just, or mechanics you would just stay away from. You would just be causing yourself unnecessary stress and breaking of your game.
So the factions which rely on close combat and factions which rely semi on close combat, like Zerg, for instance, they were getting completely obliterated. So it wasn't fun. It was one-sided fun. So we decided to tune it back and forth a little bit on that. Now, some factions like Terran have options to actually shoot into combat. The Goliath, we did small change to Goliath today, which allowed one of the weapons to actually shoot to combat, and we also allow the Terrans got a card. One of the special skills on their cards, building cards, allow actually to make one additional range attack into combat. But normally, no. It was a beautiful balance and fun.
And another question, will you be releasing heroes in different eras? For example, Stukov/Kerrigan not invested, Jimon as Vulture in the early days of StarCraft 1. This one definitely for sure. We have mentioned this a couple of times before as well, but we do definitely have plans to release different eras of heroes. Not only heroes actually for that matter, we also plan to release a variety of different factions, like for example UED, Overmind, all that good stuff.
See, I don't know enough about StarCraft to know like what's the old lore compared to like the new lore from newer games. I was worried about if there were going to be enough factions, because off the top of my head I can only think of like, I am surface level for sure with StarCraft. I played StarCraft only like a handful of times. I was more so into Diablo 2 and Diablo 3 back in those days. So StarCraft, no, I don't have a lot of knowledge on it, but I do worry again if there's going to be enough factions. I know some games tend to, like, if you think about a Warhammer 40K, there's a lot of factions to choose from, and you kind of need that. You think about, Age of Sigmar, you think about Infinity. You've got a lot of factions to choose from, and that keeps the game interesting, especially if it leans on being a competitive game. So that way you're not seeing a lot of the same armies hit the table often. But you also think about your World War II games. You think about your bolt actions. You think about your Flames of War, where you're really just, you're playing either your Americans, your Brits, or your Germans, and that's kind of really what everyone plays. And maybe there's a little side factions you got, like the Japanese, blah blah blah. But for the most part, you're looking at those three major factions, and that's kind of what everyone's really playing. So I would hope it's a sci-fi game. There's got to be other factions that I don't know about clearly, but again, I wonder. That just gives the game a lot more flavor when you've got more factions to choose from. You don't want a lot. You don't want too many. But you do want to give players, like, I think five, maybe 6 factions is that sweet spot.
Yep.
And another question from the Discord, StarCraft again. How far in advance, if at all, will you give beta rules or the real deal for units not yet having official models? As for 2 examples, people will most likely want to proxy ghosts and could also easily convert firebats from the Marauder kit. But will they have rules from the start or later, or really just if and when the official models are released?
Yes, so we want to take a little bit different strategy than other games. So this app we have developed will be used also after we finish the beta. So anything like new rules you will find in that app, and the small group or maybe bigger group will be able to actually play test it with us and give us feedback, and then basically work on those things to make sure they're fully perfectly balanced. So we will have them, but not at the get-go. It's too much. We've had some plans about adding additional unit, but to be honest, we're too close to release to actually start messing around with that. So anything you can see, anything you have seen it is what we have, and in the future we're going to be adding more.
Very smart. Very smart. Don't overwhelm yourself. These guys are professionals. They know what they're doing, but it's wise that they are not trying to just speed run getting these rules out to where they'd make mistakes, and they're not giving things time to develop and see how different mechanics interact with each other, as different abilities interact with each other, and, the results and what loops there might be in the game, and what things people can spam and stuff like that. So yeah, I like that they're taking their time. They're obviously doing this in waves. I think they don't want to bite off more than they can chew. They want this initial release to sell really good. They want nothing but good feedback. They want the community, I'm assuming they want the community to be strong. They obviously have a hub for the community to talk about rules and stuff, which is kind of like the thing now. But they are definitely, I feel like, treading carefully. And I know, at least in their mind, they probably want this game to be on the scale compared to 40K. And if they handle it right, who knows? I'd say in 5 years, we could see where they are. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Related and similar, how much variety in rules for existing models and their possible conversions will we see, and at what pace? Take Marines, for example. They showed up in so many variants in both games. You could even convert infested Marines from day one. But what if and when will we see rules for them?
When the times come, and yeah, definitely you will find some rules for those units. So
they want wave 1 to sell good
one
first,
of the beauty
guys.
of StarCraft is that we can create additional units. Additional units, and then we can use the same model. So like the prime example is Marines and the Rainer Raiders. So Rainer Raiders are a separate unit of Marines. Use exactly the same Marines. You can paint them differently, what's not, and so on. So that gives us possibility to release more and more different type of units just within that spectrum of the models, of the Marines models. Okay. Sorry for that.
Turn the ringer off before you start streaming.
Yeah, I mean it's also worth
I'm joking. He's cool.
Worth noting that. When it comes to like specific variants, some of them will obviously require an entirely different model. We definitely won't be releasing like all the variants just for the rules at the start. It's probably going to take us some time to get there as well, just rules-wise. But yeah, I mean they will definitely be coming in the future.
Yeah, that's correct.
Just to reiterate what I was saying as well, it's just, they've got to get this first wave out. They've got to prove that they've got a viable product, that, it is profitable, and that will obviously fill their coffers. They can then start working on more and more waves. I could see possibly them already having, the first 3 waves fully designed, sculpted. I mean, all that stuff takes time. Again, I think they really want to see how these starter boxes or this first wave, the starter set does, and then they're going to take it from there. And for all we know, they may not have the rights to a lot of the things further down, or maybe in like, as far as the PC game is concerned, there may be certain blocks of it that are not available to them. And so they can only design for what is available to them via the contractual agreement with Blizzard or whoever handles this side of Blizzard's IPs.
And apart from models, will we see terrain and or objective markers in plastic? I'm not talking about in-game buildings here, but both generic terrain, like Sinal Naga Towers, and possibly faction-specific other terrain. I don't see why not.
What do you mean? What are you asking?
Like specific terrain or objective markers in plastic in the future.
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Not to start with, but in the future, yes.
Yeah. So, like you said, not currently, but in the future. So that means they've got big plans for this. Again, this has to be a game that is fully supported at release. If the numbers aren't there, if they're not making the money, this game can die as quickly as it's coming to life.
Mm-hmm. And one more question from this guy. Related to terrain and models overall, are decals coming? Terrans in particular would benefit from decals for models and terrain, but I can see it done for all factions.
Sorry?
Decals.
Oh, no decals. We don't plan any decals at this stage. Mm-hmm. It's too late. It's really too late to release, and maybe in the future, but it's complicated stuff with decals.
Mm-hmm. Maybe let's go through some questions in the chat first as well, because they probably...
I was reading it right now. This was the one I wasn't paying attention what he was reading. Okay. If you want to get all the content of the pre-order stage, I will need the Founders Pack, Terran vs. Z, and Protoss, but also the Stalker, Goliath, and Hydra boxes. And what else?
So we're going to be releasing bundles when pre-orders go live. So if you want to get everything, you can just get everything in one bundle and not have to worry about it. Of course, you can just individually add stuff if you want to as well, but it's going to be less worth than just getting the bundle.
Okay. I'm interested in seeing what the prices are. Since this video is a few days old, prices may have already been released. I haven't seen any prices yet. But this could be a game that I could see dropping maybe $150. I know that might be chump change for some of you guys, but for someone like me who's been gaming for such a long time, I just don't throw my money at everything that I see because it's shiny. Because there's a lot of games that have come out in the past that have made similar promises, looked very promising, looked very appealing, and they got one wave out, the game had all kind of problems, and then nothing else was released. So that's a fear of every hobbyist, every tabletop gamer. We want everything we put our money into to become larger than life. So yeah, for me, 150, if that can get me a starter set and maybe an extra box, that would be amazing. But 150 better at least get me a starter set.
Sure, in terms of any type of collab, please get in touch with our team. I think if you go through the website and send the email to marketing, they will definitely gonna be able to answer to you straight away. If not, just send message through, I think YouTube also allows that, yeah? Mm-hmm. So. Oh no, don't do that. Please don't do super chat, please. I don't know I don't know how to refund that. Please don't do that. But thank you. European languages, we start with English, and then in the future we're gonna be doing other languages. So we need to start with English first, and then we see where this one will gonna go. Which Discord channel do you use? Is the Wargame one? The Archon Studio has the sub-channels, right? If I'm not correct, which is StarCraft.
Yeah. We have our own Discord server, which is like separated into various different projects, and StarCraft is one of them. So yeah, you can just join our server and just post in the StarCraft channel.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on.
You have some rules for Zeratul. I bought the mini, but I don't know what he will be good for at the game. So the rules for Zeratul, they're going to release at the same time as the standard version of the miniature, because the version that we
haven't announced that yet. Okay.
We already mentioned it a couple times, no?
Okay.
Of course, we're not saying exactly when it's going to be released or anything, but the promo model for Zeratul specifically, it's just going to be available during events or trade shows, whereas the regular version is going to be available just for sale normally. And once that version comes out, we're also going to be releasing the rules for it.
Yeah. Okay, so that's
pretty much
this
is
a promo
question
model.
Regarding the app
that's
itself.
Kind of weird.
So
I mean, I guess that's just like, it's like an action figure, or that's just something you put up, you paint, and you put on display. In that case, I'd be kind of bummed out about having a model that I can't really table. So yeah, but it is what it is. They said they're going to be releasing rules for it at some point, just not at its initial release, or I guess way to the people that have bought it.
Show you quickly. Yes, you can. So what you do, you just basically click that button over here. Now you only generate the text for this section. So this section, which is the core rules, right? So when you push the button on it, it will be processing, and then it will download the document, generating, and you should have the document downloaded. And looks like I'm not going to be able to show you that, but it moves away. But anyway, you are able. So what you have to do section by section. I was trying to do everything in one go, but it didn't let me. Well, it didn't let me. The document is quite large because the pictures we have there, they have to be translated to base 64, which generates quite a lot of processing power needed for the web browser. But yes, you are able to do that. And if we just go back here quickly, I'll try to find this document for you and show you how the document looks. So in general, when you go here, this is how downloaded looks. So once you open up downloaded, you have all the rules for this section. You have also notes. So once you play or once you read, you can put the notes you want here, and so on. So yeah, this is how the that section looks. And then obviously you have to go section by section. Okay.
Very helpful. Very helpful.
Let's close this. Shimon, let's go to the next question. Okay.
Last.
Yeah, I know, but today, sorry for that. But today we had we needed to do that because I wanted to explain how app works, and we had some questions. And we have some feedback to show you. So yeah, that's good.
I read a guy's question on Facebook, and I was wondering the same. Each race has different sub-factions. Will there be models for them? For example, Artanis and his Protoss, and Alaric and Tal'Darim. Yeah, absolutely. In the future, we're definitely going to be releasing the entire range of models that you can, well, that you're probably familiar with from the game. Yeah, this includes Aya Zealots, Blood Hunters for Tal'Darim, anything that's faction specific.
Exactly. So you can use any type of paint. We don't have any limitation. It's just plastic, so you can use any company's paints. So.
Army painter?
I just removed some Easter eggs.
Army painter, guys. I feel like it's the good in between quality and price.
Okay, let's move on. So the playtest has actually been open now. Once we let in everybody, so that 2,000 people almost, we will notify you on Facebook that look, and if it's not app is not gonna crash, we will let more people in. However, you can go always to Discord. We don't mind if people are going to share rules. Really, the app is only to provide feedback to us for actually having the good and very nice tool to work with, and see where the game goes and how the game develops, and having engage with the community for this type of stuff. But if somebody's gonna download PDFs and then share PDFs, we don't mind. I don't mind. At the end of the day, as long as we're gonna get some feedback for that about the game itself, then great.
See, I love that. Again, I love that it's almost community first. It's like it's all about making the game as good as possible. And yes, that should be the goal for every designer, every tabletop game. Yeah, but I mean, that's sometimes it's not the goal. Sometimes the goal is just to get the rules out and start making money as soon as possible. Or sometimes I think there are game designers that know what they want to design, and no matter what outside forces try to come and say, hey, don't do that, it's not fun. If that designer wants the game to be played in a certain way, they're going to leave the rules as they have written them. But I love that these guys, Archon Studio, are wanting feedback from the community, making this a community-driven project for the most part, and just really taking the feedback to heart and helping them mold what I hope is a masterpiece of a game.
Next one.
Well, let's go from the second one. So, StarCraft, will there be a limit to the Nidusworm abilities/units with similar transport functions for where to spawn or offload units? It'd be quite annoying when your opponent just offloads a few models somewhere randomly behind the front line.
It's well, that's the core of the game, actually, to be honest. So yes, you can do that. Most of the cases, you can do one every round, and there's a limitation for that, depending on the faction, because you have to obviously spend you have to spend resources for that. So it's not like you can get it for free. Most of the things you have to spend resources to actually get that happen, and they're quite expensive, frankly. So, but it's a core of the game. It's a core of the game because the problem is we allow people. So the control points are sticky. So what does it mean? You don't have to have a unit within that area of the control point. You just basically cap it and it's yours. You stick the flag over there. So we have to have ways of people to countering this. Otherwise, I'll push the front line with my close combat unit as far as possible onto your side of the board, and you're never going to be able to reclaim those points. So when you design the game, when you look at this one, how everything behaves on the table, you think, okay, so this is cool, but now we have to give options to other players to counter this type of gameplay. So that's why we have so many ways of actually bringing models, either through kind of the different deployment zones, or just appearing, or drop pods, or whatever. And
it sounds like it's just going to be deep strikes all over the place. I want to see if I can reach out to someone that's currently play testing the game, and and get some of their opinions of the game. Not really criticisms, I just want to hear I want to hear about the time they are having and some of those key moments that it's like, oh my god, this guy, he deep strike right behind this unit and then just obliterated it because they were boxed in. I just want to hear those kind of stories.
Actually goes with the life, or goes with the flavor, or guys still doing this. It's going with the flavor of the game itself, of the StarCraft game itself.
Yeah, it's just a part of the core rules, part of the core experience. So if everyone has access to it, it's a base mechanic. It's not really problematic.
Yeah.
I know carriers will be too large to fit on the battlefield, but can we get interceptors?
Yes.
How powerful will heroes be? Will they be just for support, or do they absolutely annihilate the opposing army?
This is a very interesting question. And so the way we balance the game based on the damage output for units. So effectively, the hero itself on a paper, if you look at the just pure stats, it's in a points wise, it's good as any other unit, because obviously the points wise. What makes heroes special? It's the special skills the heroes has. So, and here comes the beauty of it. So you can put your Kerrigan on the middle of the table. She's gonna get obliterated if, you know, a Goliath or maybe Marine's gonna shoot at her. However, if you start using the special skills and you know what you're doing, so you have to learn the game, so better you're gonna get it, more effective they're gonna be. Your heroes will be in the game. So it's not like at the get-go. Yes, I know the feeling sometimes is not the greatest, that I put my great hero and my hero is it's that in a straight away, and it doesn't, you know, soak up all the damage of enemy army, but it's not core of the game basically. So it's not hero war game. It's basically units war game. So yeah. Okay. So I would say they're fairly balanced.
You know, if that's the case, what's going to be the major draw of adding a hero, or benefit, the major benefit of adding a hero to the table, if they're not producing, they're not able to produce a lot more damage, or, you know, I guess dominance over the table, because, you know, that's something like with games like 40K. You know, you get these hero characters, and, you know, oftentimes they are very strong, and in some cases OP. But that's the reason they're, you know, $50+ for one model. You know, if with StarCraft, you know, if you're getting these main characters or these leader characters and they don't do much on the table, you're just a showpiece, you know, this could be a good thing for us gamers. I mean, maybe now we don't have to be afraid of the price, and it's like, okay, well, we can put something on the table that we feel looks cool and brings your faction to life and gives your faction some character, as far as just from the aesthetic standpoint, and not have to worry about people putting characters on the table that's going to wipe out half of your army and stuff. So I mean, it could be a plus for us. It could be a negative thing. I don't know. It just depends on how you play. But I definitely don't want to have to pay a premium for a leader model, and they don't have that dominance on the table. You know, they're not worth their salt, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Will there be off-map support, for example, BCs, Ravens, Broodlords, etc.?
Yes. You can look at them. You can look at the cards now, and you can see there's off-map supports like Medivac. So those things, yes.
Mm-hmm. Will the siege tank models have the ability to transform on the board, or do we have to choose either siege mode or not when building a model from the sprue?
Yes, when you build model from the sprue, you're going to have to choose which option you're going to build it. Fortunately, yes. However, we provide a small plastic token, like a mini siege tank token, so indicates its actually status in the game. So if you want to just have one which is assembled, did I just spoil that the siege tank will be available at some point? I did, didn't I?
He did.
Yeah, I just spoiled it, sorry. But yeah, you got me there. That was a tricky question. Okay.
That's a good thing. People like to hear
will
when
each wave also bring new tactic cards.
They can see what's coming.
The tactic cards, mission cards, and deployment cards. That's the whole concept. And actually, mission cards and deployment cards will be the heroes. So we want to available heroes. Obviously, on our website as well, so you can download them, print them if you want to use them. If you don't have to buy heroes. But tactical cards with the new units as well. They have to have their own unique tactic cards.
Okay.
StarCraft beta rules. Since the leading model is a fluid model, how is it determined if a unit is in or out of coherency when scoring objectives? It doesn't say to declare a unit leader during this step. Is it possible to be unable to get all models into coherency after a move, yet still have a unit be in coherency if a different leader is chosen?
The coherency, according to the rules as stated at the moment, are only triggered and checked when the move is finished. So any type of move is finished, and this is where we say, okay, this is the coherency. It's not like I'm going to lose additional models, I'm going to lose the coherency. In general, you're still going to have a coherency till you're going to make another move. So it only might happen when you decided to push your unit a little bit forward, and then all of a sudden you don't have that 3-inch because you just want to, go straight line and whatever. So that's only one conditions when it might happen. There's other conditions, obviously. You might not cap it because you use models, and it's based on the supply, by the way. But yes, that's what it is. Next question, Simon.
StarCraft, first time wargamers, maybe this is a me issue. Any chance we could get components to indicate which units have which unit upgrades? Like a card or a token to indicate a Marine has the AGG-12 upgrade instead of the base C-14 rifle. Something on the table to reflect that information.
Yeah, you have that on... 1 second. 1 second.
1 second, guys. 1 second.
They painted by the models. You have these upgrades on the model, so let me show you quickly. I have unpainted model, so I'm happy to show you that. Right? So that's not C14, that's AGG-12. So you just glue that model there. If you need a shield, you glue that model on a shield. Slug thrower here.
The more I see it, the more it's just
and
growing
also grenades.
on me. The more I'm just like, hey, this could be better than 40K.
You can glue it in as well.
Could this be a 40K
and that's your
killer?
model with a C14 rifle. So it's depending how you assemble your models.
All right, 2 seconds. I just thought about something. And I wish I could hold this until the end of the video, or maybe have said this at the beginning of the video. But we know this isn't going to kill 40K. We know that hands down, all right? But could this kill one-page rules? Could the quality of the models, the lore, the history of the game, the design, the mechanics of the game, the willingness to let the community see behind the veil, and actually have some input on what this game will be and how it will play to an extent, could this game kill one-page rules?
Next question.
What are the chances of Immersion and Tyrador getting unique models and rules? Definitely in the future. Again, well, Immersion is probably easier because we have physical assets in the game, or skins, that we can use. But it's definitely going to be reserved for very far into the future releases, because they simply just don't have any gameplay, unique gameplay loops in StarCraft. Whereas we can just point to a co-op faction and be like, hey, this faction has access to this and this ability. Whereas for Immersions, we know they're high tech, but we don't really have an easy way to judge what sort of abilities they should have.
That's correct. Yeah, thank you. No, we don't do any NDA for the rules. I think people need to know what they're buying, basically. And they have options to, test the game before. I mean, that's normal in a video game. You want to buy any type of video game, you have to try it out, isn't it? That's how it works. So, yeah.
That's a very good thing. I just want to say it briefly. With the price increase that I have seen over the years, I mean, if you look at 40K, I mean, I feel like when I got back into the hobby, like you were paying $150 for a starter set. I mean, now it's like you're at like they're pushing $250 in some cases, and that's just absurd that anyone is willing to put down that much money for a starter set. You get a lot of models in the box, I get it, but it's just, again, I'm not going to put $250 plus into a game for just a single box, regardless of how many miniatures it comes with. I like the slow grow a game. I love that. That's one thing that got me into the hobby early on, was, getting that single player starter set for like $50, and then just waiting, just like slobbering, just waiting for the next expansion for your faction to come out, and being excited to go pick it up, ordering it or whatever, pre-ordering it, and getting it, and then building that, and then adding that to your army, and building those points up, from 150 points up to 2,000 points, and then maybe at some point, if you've been playing for a long time in this particular game, 4,000 points. So that's something I feel like people take for granted now. People just want to like speed run building these large forces, and then they have a shelf full of half painted models and just squandered dreams.
How do you guys approach activation advantages in your game, since it's a game with alternating activations? So, for example, the Zerg has 7 units on the table, and the Protoss has like 4.
So activation, the way it works, you have phases. So you have a movement phase, assault phase, and close combat phase. And each of the phases, we do alternate activations. So if I finish my activation first, I'm going to be first one to activate in the next phase. Usually, most of the cases, because you have to pass it. You could pass it as well. So imagine Zerg going with 7 units on the table, and Protoss going 4. Most likely, every single phase, Protoss will be first one to act in each of the phases, which means after we finish movement, we go into assault. So I'm going to be first one to assault. I'm going to be first one to make in range attack, and with my first unit, obviously. And then when we go to close combat, I'm going to be first to make a range close combat attack. So that's the benefit of actually having less activation than your enemy. Most of the cases, you're going to be seizing initiative for each of the phases.
And of course, if you have more activations, it also just allows you to have more map presence. It's more like a counterbalancing system.
Yeah. It's not bad, it's really good, though. I mean, I like it. Works. The most importantly, works. According to feedback from people, by the way, so it's not like... Okay, let's go.
Zealots have 4 to 7 speed, sorry. For a full unit, you want to charge a unit of Zerglings 8 inches away. If you roll a 1, the charge fails, but if only 1 Zealot is left, the charge is successful. Is this intentional?
Yes.
Yes.
It is intentional. This is exactly the same principle as you will find in a surge die. So surge die is always constant, regardless of how many models you have on a table if from the unit. So the surge die, we're always going to give you 3d3, even if there's 9 models. So here we want to do exactly the same, self-balance the game, kind of. If the unit is less models, it's much more easy for that unit to get into the combat. So in fact, at this moment, it's just 1 model, right, left from the unit. Yeah. And yeah, close combat units kind of need that one, especially when it comes to getting damaged, and then all of a sudden you have just 1 unit which is not even able to get in charge. But that will be a small boost for that unit to actually get in charge and do some damage. Still, reclaim the points.
And how will
there was more question.
Yeah, how will you obtain new army/faction cards? Will they be available with new heroes?
Yes. I just mentioned this one, yes. Mm-hmm. So going to be new stuff, available with the new releases.
Mm-hmm. Any thought on including some flavor quotes on the bottom of the unit cards, such as how MTG does it?
Yeah.
I know Zeratul at least included them on the box.
Flavor text. I am one of those guys that I'm okay with having flavor text, but it's one of those things that, it's cool like the first time you look at it, but then after that you kind of ignore it. So it's like, is that juice worth the squeeze?
we wanted to do that, and it was removed by licensor. So I think we're gonna be skipping with this.
There you go. There's the answer for that
version of release. Maybe in the future, when we found more time, then yeah, maybe yes. But at the moment,
I wouldn't even worry about it. If it's not in the
we needed to remove the quotes.
first set. Yeah, I wouldn't even worry about it.
If you could join any faction, Zerg, Terran, or Protoss in real life, which would it be and why?
Shimon?
It's hard for me to say. I mean, it depends on my position, obviously. It's not like I can just, if I'm just enlisting as a grunt, probably Protoss, but if I could pick, like, I don't see why you wouldn't join Zerg as like a broodmother or like, a Stukov or something, I don't know.
My heart, that's the left side, right? That's my heart, and then next to my heart is look what is like next to my heart. It's basically Zerg. So yeah, I would join Zerg straight away. No discussions. Okay, next one.
For the StarCraft miniature game, will the cards come with each unit per box? If the rules get updated, will there be a release file so we can print out the updated cards?
Whenever we're going to be releasing any patches, node patches, or any fixes, you will be notified, and it's going to be on the website to download. And also in the future cards, nothing in this game will be hidden behind the paid wall. We make such a beautiful miniatures. You get such a great things in those miniatures, like a clear plastic and so on, so on. Then there's no need of hiding models, because people are not going to buy models. At the end of the day, even if you collect models, they're still gonna look amazing on a shelf, especially with those additional bits and bobs we add into miniatures. Yes, I did say that one, but today it is StarCraft only dedicated today, but I am unable to tell you anything because we make bundles, and we're gonna keep in bundles and information about bundles just a couple days before releases, just to let you know what exactly is there, because we're still working on them, and I want to give you some information now which is not gonna be true later. Okay.
Yeah, and adding on to what you just said, this is a StarCraft focus stream. It's outside of the regular loop of our normal live streams. Our normal live stream is still planned for later this week, right?
Yes. The normal Ask Me Anything is still planned for Friday. Mm-hmm. So we're going to do a normal on Friday. So if you're going to have still more questions regarding any of our projects, please wait till Friday. Today is just dedicated to StarCraft Ultra.
That's pretty cool. I'm not even subscribed to Archon Studio, so I've never actually watched any of their live streams. But now knowing that they do this often, I'll probably I will subscribe. Make sure you guys subscribe as well, and I will start keeping my eye out for their live streams, see what they got on the boiler.
Try to answer some maybe some questions here, but yeah, one more question. I saw you have different equipments. It is still old. What you see is what you get. Well, kind of is. I would say it is, yeah.
You have to keep in mind that a lot of upgrades aren't even really visible on the model, though. Where you can't really do a full where you see what you get, because there's just no way of telling. So you have to keep that in mind at least.
Okay. Let's maybe check some questions here, Shimon.
Mm-hmm. That's for me. WYSIWYG has been one of those things that I have kind of always ignored. It's one thing if you're trying to proxy a model. I'm not really cool with that. But if you've got a model, he doesn't have a shield, but you're saying, hey, this guy has a shield. That's cool. That's fine. I'm just saying for things where it's you've got a basic grunt, and you're trying to say he's like a hero or he's like a leader or whatever term you want to use for a much stronger character. I don't like things like that. But again, for having certain equipment be visible, or attached to the model, if you've got it or not, I don't really care about that. I just, let's have fun. Let's roll some dice.
If a unit of Marines has enough non-lethal damage to lose models in the calculations in combat, would taking 0 damage trigger the loss of models?
Please check the rules, because it's clearly stated in the rules that you have to take at least 1 damage. At least 1 damage to trigger your damage pool. effectiveness. So if you don't get any damage, there's no trigger on damage pool.
StarCraft, at what frequency should we expect new factions and characters to be released?
At the moment, we're looking at maybe every 2 months, maybe every 3 months, but that's what we're looking at this stage. We still don't know how many people are going to pre-order the core game, and that's going to be kind of affect, it might affect the way how we're going and how fast we're going to be releasing just at the get-go, at the first few months. Because if you have so much to manufacture, then obviously you're not going to be able to do another releases because we have to manufacture and ship that one to you guys, and then you have to play and so on and so on. It's going to be kind of good because then we have more time to playtest additional rules and additional units we plan to release in the future. But effectively, once we get into the cycle of releases, we're going to carry on cycle of releases.
Awesome. That's what you want.
Yeah.
That's what you want to hear. I mean, they're not going to say, we have no idea. We're going to drop this starter set. Yeah, we'll see how it does, and then maybe we'll see. Well, maybe we'll give it some more thought, and then maybe we'll come out with some additional forces and stuff like that. They're not going to say that. They're going to make it sound as positive as possible that they're going to support this game through and through. And again, that's what us hobbyists want to hear. We don't want to hear that we're throwing our money at a project and all of a sudden it's kind of like, all right, well, hey, thanks for buying this initial stuff, we're moving on. Nobody wants to hear that. And it happens so often that games come out and
maybe
don't
not
deliver
carriers and flying units.
anything
Yes,
beyond
the flying
initial
units are
release.
coming. I mean, if you look at the app itself and the rules itself, they are covering also flying units. Although we needed to remove fly from the cards, from the tactical cards slots for the fly units, just because it was not enough room for the text in there.
Rules question: when reinforcements arrive, should we declare that the units we are going to bring in during that turn, or can we decide during the game when to bring in a unit from the reserves?
It's definitely up to you. You can decide. You can actually decide not to bring any if you want. If you see on a battlefield you want to keep your supply for the next round because you have two larger units you want to bring in a tandem to combo, you may do that as well. So it's not mandatory. It's a freedom, absolutely freedom. So the whole concept about you set up those Zerlings, no problem. I will set up something what is actually countering the Zerlings. That was the whole idea about what I can actually deploy this round. I'm not or there's no mandatory forcement to actually do deployment. Although you have to bear in mind that every single unit which is still in the supply, which is still in the reserves at the end of the game is actually punishing you heavily. So you've got to have them on a table. You want to have them on a table, otherwise point-wise you might lose the game. Okay, let me just quickly switch to this device. We're gonna go through, I just want to show you the feedbacks already we have collected. So we received, over weekend, we received 16 bat reps. We actually got 2,302 different logs. So different logs are different type of suggestions and the rule logs and so on.
That's a lot of data to
Now,
sift
this is the
through.
average score per rules as written, as people understand them. So you can see out of 18 people who actually read the rules, they're scoring around about 9, so they're very good average for the rules. There are some 8 we're going to be investigating, looking into this one. But that's the team task to actually go through it. Now, looking at the battle reps, that's the section for the core rules, as I mentioned. So we have some good number of feedback on the rules itself, the unit cards and so on. This is exactly the same. Some of the units might need a fixing because, again, all the 6s, all everything, when people giving us those numbers, this means something needs to be done. Although there's a lot of feedback there, we're waiting for more feedback to come through, guys, from you. Matchups are interesting at the moment. As you can see, Protoss is actually knocking everybody out of the park at 73% of win rate. Now, there's a couple things in that battle report we noticed. First of all, people play random points. They don't play like 1,000 points games or 2,000 points games. Effectively, we would like to the playtest groups to play at 2,000 points games because this is how the game is purely designed for. The skirmish mode for 1,000 points is the mode when you want to try the game and see how the game works. But effectively, the best balance we should be finding at 2,000 points. games. Now there are some things we have to look into. Is the range versus melee is 0.2. This is something we have to see. It apparently something against Terran and Protoss, which is causing the small disruption. So we did small changes now in the units just to reflect that one. The phase flow 7.8. We're still looking at the comments here. How we can improve. Some of the scoring, like you can see, 4.1 for mobility. This is basically between 1 and 5, and between 1 and 5. So whenever it's green, it's good. Whenever it's yellow, this is also scoring from 1 to 5. The rest of the scoring is 1 to 10. Yeah, so not that bad. StarCraft vibe is 8.4. Engagement is 7.7, which is good for the game. Emotions almost 8. Depth of the game is 7.6. The high score is actually repeatability, which we have 8.8. So that's good. Tactic systems, we are very, very proud about it. This is basically tactic cards and everything around it.
So just a lot of good data feedback.
The point I was very, very interesting to see the scoring is for the search time, which is 8.7. It's very good. So all in all, I would say it's not bad. It's not bad. And here we have all the feedback from Terran, Protoss, and so on. Now, this number needs to go to at least 200, and we hope we're going to have at least data from 200 games, and this will flush out many issues, problems, and so on from the game. So there's several changes we did. In fact, if you go to main rules and if you scroll down, I added small section here just towards the end of here, I believe. Where I did that, I think I did that. Where I did that? The cool mechanic. 1 second. Let's go to changelog. So the changelog, you can see all the things I changed today. We were adding some rules. We changed some rules, and so on. It was actually here. Okay, that's the main changelog. So this is going to be interesting to people who actually already played the game and read the rules. So it's lots of you guys, but we want to go through that one as well. So Marines for the Terran, Marines and Rhino Raiders, and Marauders. Steam pack, actually it's been boosted. So non-lethal damage on that one is reduced from 3 to 2. Slag thrower and grenade strike range increased from 6 to 8 inches.
Just because
Marine reduced the combat shield. We changed CP cost from 2 to 1, and the rules actually changed. This time it's actually just slightly different. So this unit is always eligible to make evade roll against any close combat in that folder over there. But anything you want, like tactical cards, you will find here, text, and then 2 faction cards, which we have. I know it says. So yeah, once we have that one done, they will be posted on YouTube.
How will you manage to balance the game for each release of new units? Will you have to rebalance the entire game after each release, or waves? Hopefully not. It's not in our plans. No.
I wonder. Let's see what.
Absolutely not. So
I don't think that's that much of an issue.
I mean, about balancing. When we use math, we use quite a lot of math in the game itself.
I think that's going to be one of those things. Like, I don't care how good of a designer you are, how much feedback you're getting from your community. I think as a game with a long lifespan, it's going to have those growing pains, and rebalancing is going to be something that's got to happen at some point. Obviously with GW, I feel like they rebalance everything like every 2 years, if not even that. You guys tell me. But I think, with PC gaming, that's something that, they can do behind the scenes, and then, patches release, and then, your favorite character got nerfed and you're like, oh man. But, it's a lot different with tabletop, because with PC games, you're buying a full game, or, you're paying a subscription fee or whatever. You may have paid for a character, or, if you're playing like a gacha game or something like that, where you're doing pulls and stuff like that. For miniature gaming, you're going out and purchasing that particular model for its strength, and to get a model that could be upwards of $35, if not more, to have it nerfed, during a patch or a rebalancing of the rules, in a later edition, or just some errata or something like that could be sickening almost. But I think it's one of those things that's going to happen. There's no way around it. They just can be careful as possible. Don't make these first characters too strong, because that just ramps everything up very quickly. Just incrementally make these models or these characters stronger, So, but I think these guys know what they're doing. Hopefully that won't be a problem. Hopefully this game will have a long life, and it won't be plagued with those kinds of issues.
I won't be able to show you this one. I wanted to show you one document which we use. So we basically use a lot of balancing stuff. So we have like loads of balance math, and then we take one unit and the next unit, and we fight it against unit. Depending how the unit fight each other, this is how it works. Yeah. Okay. What else, Simon?
I received an invitation to be a playtester last week, but I haven't received any login information yet. Yeah, so again, we're releasing access to the playtests progressively, so not everyone has access yet, but you will soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, capital ships won't be models. Where can I see what products are being released and prices so I can budget accordingly? We haven't released a full list of prices yet. At the moment, we've only revealed more or less the two-player starter set. The Founders Edition will be about $200.
Woo!
But apart from that,
I mean, I should have known. If that's a two-player starter set, each person's paying $100. It makes sense with the way prices are nowadays. If there better be terrain in the box. Like, I understand there's probably going to be a lot of models, and that's great. That's fine and dandy. But I gotta have some terrain if I'm paying $200, and that's before tax. So, I don't know how much tax is where you guys are, but where I am, tax is like 9%, So, it can substantially make something expensive even more expensive. So again, $200, I think for me, that's right there on the cusp of I could possibly get it. That's probably MSRP as well. So who's to say that game won't be a little cheaper? Maybe you'll be able to find it in the 170s, 180s. If it's in the 170s, I can come off 170. Like, again, I was hoping for 150, 170 I can still do. But again, if I don't necessarily need a two-player starter set, I've got quite a few people around me that are ready to dive in, given a moment's notice. And so I just need a good, faction box and a book that's a reasonable price. And if the rules are free, even better. But I definitely want to support the game, so pick up the book. Guys, always, if you can get free rules, that's great. But if there's an option to pick up the book, if you're enjoying the game, get the book. Show the designers some support.
No, we haven't gone like really in depth into like the actual prices yet.
Not $200.
How far along are you with the rules for new units? For example, the rules for Siege Tanks, Flyers, Ghosts already done, or you're just waiting for the miniatures approval?
The new units, we work on them. Well, currently we just we stop any work on doing anything which is like new units because we have to flush out and we have to fix what we have at the moment to fix. So
yeah,
once we fix those things, we're gonna move on to the new units.
Don't spread yourself too thin.
But then being like structure at the moment, yes. About the pre-order dates, we're still aiming at the end of the end of before 10th of March. So we're still aiming at that point. We still have to have some things to do. We still have to get some final approvals. Once we get the final approvals, we will definitely come back to you on those things. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see everything taking a little bit longer, because they have to honor whatever contractual agreements they have. I mean, obviously, someone at Blizzard, again, or whoever handles this, has to sign off on pretty much everything they do, I'm assuming, again. But, you know, I think that's just the pains of the product of this type of project, where, you know, if this was a creation of all their own, if this was a unique, you know, design, this is something they made, you know, this wasn't an intellectual property that is pre-existing, they could, you know, they could do it however they want. They could, you know, they could make models and just release them, and, you know, they don't have to abide by any rules. I'm pretty sure someone has some say with gameplay probably as well, I would think, you know.
Okay, I think we're gonna be finishing for today, because that was the whole concept.
Do we see more miniatures?
Hey, sure, man. Just get in touch with us. Get in touch with our team, or I'll ask my team to get in touch with you.
Let's just jump forward, see if they talk
Anything
about...
bigger than Ultralisk won't have minis. I don't think so. I mean, the Ultralisk is one of the biggest. You want to join our development team? No problem. More than welcome.
Yo, I would jump at the chance to join Archon. I'm saying a lot, sorry guys, but yeah, I would love to be in the room while a game of this caliber is being made, and just to be part of a team that can say they were part of such an iconic IP. That would be awesome in itself.
So again, estimated for the pre-orders, we're planning to do pre-orders around about as we mentioned, by 10th of March.
Pre-orders in March. Oh, he's getting miniatures, guys. He's getting miniatures.
I don't have it to show you.
Oh, boo. Bro's giving...
I mean, yes, you can still report it. You can still report it. Just mention in the comments, in the main comments, that this has been played solo, just for us to have understanding. The most important is your feeling about the game, and about the rounds.
You know, I respect having solo rules, but, you know, everything can't be applicable to, like, solo. It's a game... Again, I feel like games that are designed to be solo, that's one thing. But when you have a game that is designed to be competitive, sometimes a solo variant just isn't going to work. And you might as well just play both sides of the table, play double fist, or whatever you want to call it. Because trying to shoehorn in some solo rules that are half-baked, it's just a waste of the designer's time to try to make the game be something it's not. So yeah, guys, solo isn't something that should be in every game. Every game shouldn't have a solo variant, and that's coming from a guy that loves playing solo games, that almost only designs solo games in his free time.
So the force field is that do Raptors ignore force field in purpose of movement? Do they say that they ignore any type of miniatures or models on the table or terrain? In terrain, yes, they do. The token which is placed on a table is terrain token. So yeah, close combat phase. Do we have to do close ranks action before attacking? If possible, yes. You do close ranks before you are going to make any range attacks. A Marine on a high ground can basically see every main dot obscured on the map, yes. Well, effectively, yes. On the high ground, Marine's got size 2. On the high ground will be size 5. So you can see mainly through everything on the board itself. Now, if you look top down, like through line of sight, you're still going to be able to see those models in most of the cases. So effectively, the system we have, it is very, very similar to the system we have is very similar to a true line of sight.
Okay. True line of sight is best line of sight.
Broad War variants of the units in the future.
All right, guys, it looks like it was winding down right about here. So I'm going to cut it. Guys, I want to thank you for sticking with me this long. If you have, I know all of you have. I know if you started this video nearly an hour and 20 minutes ago, you are still here. Thank you, guys. Go ahead and subscribe. Subscribe to Archon Studio. I'll leave a link for this video in the description. And guys, I want you to let me know, will you be playing StarCraft? Do you think StarCraft will kill one-page rules? Do you think so? Or if not one-page rules, do you think it could kill Trench Crusade? There can't be all these massive games. Somebody's got to go. Even though Trench Crusade is I feel like it's more skirmish level. So Trench Crusade could be safe, but one-page rules could possibly be in danger. All right, guys, again, thank you for sticking with me this long. Go ahead and make sure you like the video. And as always, I'll see you when I see you.